Welcome to our afternoon session on the role of innovative procurement as a driver of innovation for SMEs. I hope you've so far enjoyed the conference, and I'm glad that you've joined our workshop. My name is Angelika Höss. I work for an organization which is called Auftragsberatungszentrum Bayern. Usually we just use the abbreviation ABZ. We are based in Munich, and we offer advisory services for enterprises that would like to participate in public contracts. Basically, that's all we do all day long. We talk about public procurement. Within the Enterprise Europe Network, I'm also the chair of the thematic group Public Procurement, and I would very much like to take this opportunity to invite you to join our group. You will find us in the forum, and we are a subgroup of the thematic group Single Market. In this public procurement thematic group, there are various topics which we discuss and on which we share best practices, guidelines. The major part, of course, is the very traditional public procurement aspect, cross-border bidding for public tenders. But we also have expertise and guidelines on criteria of sustainability in public procurement, participation in international public procurement. And I must say that one of the most active subtopics is the subtopic of public procurement of innovation. And I'm very glad that the speakers today are all from this group. And I would like to thank you very much in advance for acting as speakers today. I know it's been quite an effort to put everything together and do all the testing and the rehearsing. So thank you very much for taking your time and preparing this workshop. Now, I suppose that you participants, when you registered for the workshop, you might have wondered, well, what's this going to be all about? And I think the most important question also for you is there any money in this topic for my SMEs? So I would like to draw the attention to the fact that public buyers spend a lot of money on purchasing goods and services. So basically, public procurement, the public market offers huge business opportunities also for SMEs. There is quite a lot of business for SMEs in the public market. However, at the same time, public buyers, they are risk averse, and they do not really like to spend taxpayers' money on purchasing new products or innovative services, things of which they're not really sure whether they will work out. And you all know that startups and innovative companies, they're all on the lookout for first buyers. They always need someone who really tests their product and buys it first, so they get a first reference. And as this is the case in Europe and also in other member states, there are initiatives and projects that tend to foster and tend to encourage public buyers to give startups or people with new ideas a chance in the public market. So basically, our workshop is going to be about projects and programs that are running and that offer help and assistance for innovative solutions and products. As you've probably all been attending the conference for 1 or 2 days, you're familiar with Slido. So please, you're welcome to ask your questions on Slido. We are going to answer them at the end of the session. And even if we are not able to answer them all during in this afternoon, we're going to collect the questions and we'll answer them after the conference. So feel free to ask as many questions as you like. Okay, now let's start. I would like to introduce our first speaker. Lucia Diaz-Martin. She is responsible for this workshop. And again, thank you very much for organizing the event, Lucia. Lucia is part of the Andalusian Innovation and Procurement Unit, and she is very active and has comprehensive knowledge in economics and also in technology transfer. And today she is going to talk about innovation procurement broker services. Now, Lucia, if you would like to give us your key message for the audience. If people leave our workshop today, what should they keep in mind? Yeah, what is the key message you would like them to remember?
Hello, Angelica. Well, I think that the key message for the audience is that if they really want to explore alternative ways to promote innovation and technology transfer among their clients, I think that this is the perfect place to find out some alternative services. Angelica, you are muted.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, thank you very much. Now let's see what information you've got for us today.
Thank you, Angelica. Hello, everyone. As I mentioned before, what I want to present today is services that an innovation procurement broker should deliver to either public authorities and innovation providers, with a special focus on SMEs to facilitate the successful implementation of the projects. So I'm Lucia Diaz, you can see Angelica perfectly present me. So before I start describing the services and the tasks to be delivered by this broker, it's important to understand what are the main differences between traditional procurement and innovation procurement. Traditional procurement is usually based on a strict definition of the goods or the services to be purchased by the public authority, and it's always related to a cost logic. But on the other hand, when you speak about innovation procurement, the approach is completely different. It's a more strategic and needs-driving approach, positioning the need at the center of the purchase. It will take into consideration not only the costs, but also additional and more diversified parameters and work criteria, such as sustainability, long-term impact, energy efficiency, etc. And as I mentioned before, the approach will be based on the needs, not on the solution, and this will allow a greater margin of potential innovative solutions for the market. So having that in mind, the innovation procurement broker services that I'm going to talk to you about today are the ones considered on the innovation procurement broker model developed in the framework of the InnoBroker project. This project is an EU-funded project under the COSME program that I had the honor to coordinate, which was focused on the development of the before-mentioned business model, with the main aim of facilitating the procurement of innovative goods and services by strengthening the links between public buyers on the demand side and innovative companies on the supply side. So you may be wondering why it's so important to develop an innovation procurement broker business model to bring together public buyers and suppliers. First of all, please be aware that innovation procurement is not only focused to give answers to the needs of the public authorities, but it also generates opportunities to those innovative SMEs that might be providers of potential solutions to answer to these needs. Therefore, by innovation procurement, companies, especially SMEs, will be able to really focus on the features and functionalities of the proposed solution rather than on the cost of the solution. They will be able to introduce innovation to the market which could be also be applied in future projects. Innovation procurement also reduces the risk of innovation for SMEs, since the risk is going to be shared also by the public administration. So in order to bring together buyers and suppliers, it's important to facilitate and put in place different innovation procurement brokerage approaches, either at regional, national, or European level. So in order to do that, it's essential to support public authorities on the identification and definition of their needs, and to help public authorities as well to identify potential providers of innovative solutions, and at the same time support these potential providers, the SMEs, to promote their solution, helping them to identify opportunities in the form of innovation procurement projects. So bearing in mind all my previous considerations, as I mentioned before, an innovation procurement broker business model was developed in the framework of the InnoBroker project. This model is available at the project webpage, and you can download this model. And so from now on, I will try to summarize, and I will try to highlight what I consider are the main takeaways of this business model. So by definition, the role of a broker is to bridge between two other actors. In the case of innovation procurement, this means bridging between buyers and suppliers, respectively, between unmet needs of buyers and possible innovative solutions. In our model, buyers are defined as public bodies with a need for an innovative solution. Suppliers are economic operators offering the execution of innovative works, the supply of innovative products, or the provision of an innovative service. So basically, private companies, SME startups, but also anyone or any person, any entity which could be able to offer innovative solutions on the market to be involved. So the innovation procurement business model bridging role depicted in this slide highlights the necessity for a broker to deal with a differentiation on the demand as well as on the supply side, and distinguishes between what could be core beneficiaries, defined as the customers of the services, and therefore, in our model, the core beneficiaries are buyers and suppliers. And also, it differentiates between what is called extended beneficiaries. On the demand side, citizens benefiting from better services, and the overall society benefiting from the achievement of the societal goals. And on the supply side, these extended beneficiaries will be the innovators related to a solution provider and the overall market. The scope of this broker is bridging between, as I mentioned before, between the unmet needs and the possible innovation solution, facilitating the realization of innovation procurement cases, and monitoring the achievement of the innovation. The value is boosting innovation to achieve add value, considering add value as a positive impact on core and extended beneficiaries. And the broker activities is a service portfolio consisting on 9 different service elements, which I will be addressing later on. So in order to define an innovation procurement service portfolio, it's important to have a clear picture of how an ideal innovation procurement process looks like in a public entity. It starts with the definition or the identification of the need, follows with the definition of the business case. Then the public entity needs to identify potential providers of innovative solutions and execute the innovation procurement process. This is the market dialogue, the definition of the technical specifications, and the preparation of the tender documentation, and the process finalizes after all the contractual processes has ended and the solution has been implemented and the need has been answered. So an innovation procurement project really needs to understand the public sector rationality of providing services for citizens and being subject to public administration rules and regulations in order to facilitate and support the access of SMEs to innovation procurement projects. However, on the basis of the InnoBroker pilot, it became clear that the facilitating role of an innovation procurement broker is especially desired from the public buyer's perspective, in 2 of the 4 phases that I have already presented. One of these is on helping to develop an innovation procurement case, which includes the market scan and the follow-up bridging between needs and innovative solution, and which also means involving SMEs in the whole innovation procurement process, and also in promoting innovation procurement to motivate other public buyers to engage and use experiences derived from good practices. So identifying the unmet needs of a public entity and refining them is a central activity of the broker. Without a real need and the buyer's genuine commitment to the need, the public authorities is prone to drop the innovation procurement project at some point of the process. So having this in mind, in this final slide, what I wanted to share with you is what we have identified as the elements and tasks of the service portfolio of the generic innovation procurement project. So starting from procurement promotion, which includes raising awareness activities, training and education, development and maintenance of networks of buyers and suppliers, and recruitment activities, mostly focused on buyers, but also on the identification of suppliers. The second service element will be the needs identification. It includes clarified conditions for an innovation procurement case, identify and specify the needs of the public authorities, explore the market and refine the needs statement, and design support on the designing of the innovation procurement case. Then we have the strategy development. It includes facilitating strategic embedding in the buyer's organization and outline the costs and benefits of the innovation procurement and the innovation procurement strategy. Then we have the market analysis, basically it's conducting market scan and assess results, engage with knowledge providers and potential suppliers, identify the degree of innovation of the solution. This basically is identifying in which PRL the desired or the needs is more allocated. Then we have the need and the innovation match, that is basically partnering services, is launching innovation requests, and as we all know, this is the technology request that we post at the POT marketplace, prepare the preliminary market consultation, and to provide support on finding solutions. Then the financing identification, that is nothing but identifying by finding instruments such as a financial strategy for the innovation procurement case and support the public authority or the SME on the proposal development. The procurement upscaling is promote innovative solutions for joint and multiple procurement, foster joint and multiple procurement at regional, national or European level. This is that if we identify different public buyers with the same solution, it's better to put them together in order to foster the joint procurement and the acquisition of a joint solution. Then we have the tender pursuit, the tender support on the clarification of the IPR, support on the right contractual procedure for the public administration and the approaches, and support on the dissemination of the call for tender in order to reach a wider audience as possible. And last but not least, benefit demonstration. This is disseminate good practices, examples, and give demonstration. So, as I mentioned before, this is a general model. The different services are not correlated in the sense that depending on the provider and depending on the public authority, you may start from one or the other in order to give answer to the SMEs needs or the public authority needs. So this is all from my side. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions, you already know Slido or the live chats. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucia, for this excellent methodology. I just wanted to point out that the basic problem is you have a public buyer with a need and you have an innovative solution somewhere in the market. And the question is, how can you bring these two together? So I think your slides, they show very in detail the steps that have to be taken. So thank you very much, Lucia. Our next speaker is Reyes Santicondo Romero. She's got 12 years of experience in working on international project. She is a biologist. And I think you also work a lot on the topic of sustainability. Is that correct, Reyes?
Yes, Angelica, is that correct? Thank you.
Okay, so you have bring in expertise from both sides, the sustainability part and also the topic of public procurement. Today you're going to talk about funding opportunities. So what is your key message for the audience?
Thank you, Angelica. I think your camera is off, so we cannot see you, just for you to
okay, here we are.
Now we can see you, yeah, much more better. Thank you. And thank you, Lucia, for inviting me, because I am quite a newcomer in this innovation procurement stuff. So my key message will be, do not be afraid. As somehow a newcomer, you have seen from the Angelica's introduction and the wonderful presentation of Lucia that this is a different process, but we can achieve it, we can understand it. And what I will focus on my presentation is some practical tips of how to participate in this kind of project. So my message is, do not be afraid of innovation procurement, because it's a really good chance for our public institutions and our SMEs. Okay, wonderful. So
you start.
Yeah, thank you, Angelica. As I was saying, I am going to talk about funding opportunities at the European level to finance the innovation procurement. What I'm going to do is to explain the main funding conditions. I assume that almost all the audience here is familiar with the Horizon Europe requirements, topics, etc. So I have built my presentation on that you already know the main topics about European projects. And after talking about the differences between the typical consortia of an Horizon Europe cluster or whatever, I will just give you an overview of the calls, just more for your information. I'm not going to go in depth on that, but of the calls in 2021 and 2022 that we have now open for the following months in which you can participate. So main funding conditions to build an innovation procurement project. We need to know which actions can fund this type of actions. We are going to start with the CCAs, the coordination and support actions. Usually have a maximum of 100% funding rate, as usual in Horizon Europe. And they help us to prepare the PCP or the PPI, the pre-commercial procurement or the public procurement of innovative solution. It's just the preparation phase. They cannot fund the launching of the procurement or the R&I activities, but they are there for building the structure of the projects. We have also the research and innovation actions and the innovation actions, typical RIA and AI. And under the subcontracting cost of this type of actions in Horizon Europe, we can just think about doing something linked to a PCP or a PPI only under the budget of subcontracting cost. This will be possible all the time, except if the call requires industry or suppliers to be part of the consortia. We will see that in that case, under the subcontracting cost, we cannot do this type of activities. We have also actions devoted to the PCP and the PPI themselves, like the PCP actions with a maximum funding rate of 100%, and the PPI actions with a maximum of 50% funding rate. And last but not least, what we have is the EC or any funding body that wants to launch their own PCP or on innovation procurement. We have an example of the EU blockchain pre-commercial procurement that was launched by the Commission in 2020. Of course, as in any European project, we need to comply with some eligibility criteria. In this case, we have to be in the consortium, minimum 3 independent legal entities from 3 different member states or associated countries. This is business as usual. But here we will need to have a minimum of 2 of these entities that are public procurers for 2 different member states or associated countries. And of these 2 public procurers, at least 1 should be established in a member state. This is a minimum requirement for the buyers group that I will describe afterwards. And please, if you want to know in depth how to participate and what do you need to comply with, go to the Horizon Europe program guide to the section Innovation Procurement, in which you will find all the information you need to participate in this process. There could be other conditions for participation. I have just here highlight 2. For instance, in the buyers group can contain additional procurers that are providing services of public interest. For instance, NGOs. They can be part of this buyers group. Or they can be, like in any European project, other participants that are not potential suppliers, but that help in the implementation of the project, assisting the buyers in preparing the calls for the procurements, deploying the dissemination and communication activities, for instance. And of course, we are going to have different actors in this type of consortia. We will have the buyers group. Lucia has said this is putting into contact the buyers and the suppliers. Okay, so we have the buyers group in which we will find procurers, which are the beneficiaries of the consortium, and possible linked third parties. They will provide the financial commitments to implement the procurements, and they need to comply with the eligibility, as I mentioned before. And we also have a coordinator, like in all the projects of Horizon Europe, which is the lead procurer, okay? Is the beneficiary appointed by the buyers group to lead and coordinate all the actions. We can have also other beneficiaries and third parties. Here, the news is that we can have third parties providing in-kind contributions, for instance, to give resources, equipment for the testing. This is something new, okay? And of course, we will have the providers. These providers are the successful tenderers. They are selected by the buyers group and of course by the coordinator, the lead procurer, as a result of this procurement stage call of tenders. What they are going to do, they will provide these research and development services in the case of a pre-commercial procurement, or the innovative solutions in the case of a PPI. But they do not sign the grant agreement. They are the suppliers. And which activities can we perform in this type of procurement, innovation procurement projects? We will have a preparation stage and an execution stage. Lucia has already mentioned this. In the preparation stage, we will have to do an open market consultation, which is crucial for the companies. We will develop the tender specifications, and we will launch the joint procurement agreement. When coming or stepping into the execution phase, there we will do the procurement itself of the services in the PCP or of the innovative solutions. The consortia will validate the performance of these solutions and publicate also the outcomes of the previous activities. In this execution phase, it is really important also to confirm the strategy for communication, dissemination, and exploitation of the results of the project. And where we can find all these opportunities in the funding and tenders portal as usual. If you look for PPI or PCP, you will find all the topics which contain this type of actions. And just to finish, what I told you is that I have made a summary of which calls regarding the type of actions that I have already explained to you, we have opened for these next months. So regarding the support to PCP and PPI, we have PCP actions, RIA, and I remember you that this is under the subcontracting cost, and CSAs that are focusing on this preparation phase. As you can see, the topics are very wide. Usually, maybe we can think about innovation procurement in health or maybe in infrastructures, but there are a lot of different topics like energy, like education, capabilities. So you will have a place to be if you want. In 2022, we have also PPI actions and program co-fund actions. These are different actions that I have not explained, but are usually co-funded by the regional ministry. And in this case, is to stimulate the innovation procurement. And regarding the actions that are targeting the deployment of these procurements, during the 21 and 22, we will have in 3 clusters. In cluster 1, health, in cluster 3, cybersecurity, and in cluster 4, digital, industry, and space. I have leave you there all the data, the link to the topic, so you can just go through it if you are interested on that research or industrial area. And regarding the PCP and the PPI among the research and innovation actions, we are going to find 2 topics in the following months under the Research and Infrastructure Program, which is in the first pillar of Horizon Europe. Last but not least, the calls focusing just the CSAs for 2021 and 22. In this case, we have also in research infrastructure, in cybersecurity, in digital, but there are 2 new clusters that are funding this preparation of procurements that are in cluster 5 energy and in cluster 6 about food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, and environment. So plenty of opportunities for everyone. And this is my contribution today. Thank you very much. And of course, if you have any questions, just leave it in the Slido or in the live chat, and I will be glad to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. I have, okay, yeah. Right, here we are. Pressed all the right buttons. So thank you very much for putting all the details together for us. The good thing about these funding opportunities is there is money in them also for the public buyers. So if you are, or if you know a company that could be interested in one of these funds, it's a lot easier to contact and get in touch with a possible public buyer if you can tell them, okay, there's also money in it for the procurement itself. So I think that's what makes these programs really attractive. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Juan Carmona Schneider. He is working for Zenit. Zenit is in Germany a very big organization, and they are focused on technology. Juan himself, he is head of life sciences in PPI. I think he's been working a lot on the health sector, and also he is part of the German Competence Center of Public Procurement of Innovation. Juan, today you're going to talk to us about synergies and networks. And what is your key message for the audience?
For us, EN, a little difference than in the past here with public, because they are not typical applicants for Rising, but here we have to be very intensive looking for them, and the good thing, they have then a lot of money for the SMEs, and I will show in an example how it does work. Let me go further. Yeah. Okay. So my topic is how to exploit the synergies with existing innovation procurement. We have this system EN, as we all know. The European Union wanted to have more network of 10 centers in Europe, and this is the first of my presentation today. So there is a called Innovate, and can map that we have different countries included. This Innovate project should improve the institutional support for procurement, which is not so easy because in a lot of countries, most of countries in Europe, we haven't. So the project shall establish new centers like Greece, Ireland, Italy, and Portugal, but so there are existing like in Austria, Germany, Netherlands, Spain, and Sweden, and they should extend their activities and should learn from each other, peer system. And this is a very political project where the European Union has a lot of interest. So for us, even these national competences are one of the organizations can talk to. Their job is to facilitate knowledge sharing, collaboration of practices. As Angelika said, it is the German competence center, procurement, and Inno, and we are also same on regional level in Australia. As I said, the 85 existing competitors, they should in larger scope, because between Spain and Germany and Sweden, there are also a lot of differences. So we shall make a new, stronger competence centers in topic. It is not only on Europe issues, it is in general people on public procurement of innovation. I think this is also an institution. And there are in our project now 5 new, but we are looking now at the moment expand this with other countries now somehow let's say an applying phase for other countries to expand this research, if possible, all 27 union. And it's a lot of communication, exchange of experience. With it was not so easy to do it to face, but with a lot of on online systems. And can only suggest, if you're interested in this topic on public procurement of innovation, in general, contact your national competences. I think this message condemn if you go in this direction. It's not, and we should also sort a little bit direction horizon 2020 in the panel. Reyes has shown you all the possible points and where you can take part. The past FP7 in the Horizon 20, there have been called, and one of the there was the STARS project where there have been and the process I will explain a little more, say how it really can work or shall or not. This is in a cyclical top nowadays in hospitals. It is a big issue. So we are to empower the patients for.
Yeah, good. Just makes noise enough.
You can hear me? Yeah. Oh, okay. So okay, make a difference now. Stress in the hospital an issue, and this project wants to reduce the power of patients, but also the professionals, and it works like that. At 5 leading in Europe. So Ray said 2 is a minimum, but I would suggest 4, 5, 6, because it happens that 2 hospitals, or in this case, go out, and then you have a problem in the project. So it's better to have 4. Then you have more expertise and more interest, and interesting also develop for subcontractors to go in 5, 7, and only 2 interested in this topic. And how the is, as we have today, need-oriented. So this is that they have a problem, and this current problem should be overcome. And for that,
hello, Juan. Juan,
yes.
hörst du?
Yes.
Sorry, but the sound quality is very, very bad. It's a lot of noise and.
Yeah, I know why. The technicians something, and it became worse.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't have a solution. I was just asked by one of the participants to tell you. Maybe you should try without the headset. Maybe that's better.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'm sorry, Juan, really. Tut mir leid. Now we can't hear anything at all, so. You should unplug the headphones. That was another recommendation. because otherwise we can't hear him. It's amazing because he is the one on site, you know, he's the one in Stuttgart.
Sometimes to be online is better than to be on site.
But only if you know which buttons to press, you know.
Yeah. That's true.
So we apologize for the participants, and so I wonder whether the technicians will come up with a solution. Let's just be a bit patient. No, just one tip for the audience. I'm sure that in each country, you know, there is initiative from the government. And so the best thing for you would be to try to identify your competence center on innovation in public procurement and see what they're doing, because often they offer seminars and they're often best practices. Now, yes, with regard to the questions, that was a good idea. Let's have a look at the questions. There was one question for, can we carry on?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay, sorry. It's always somehow, somebody has always a technical problem. So I need only to explain the process, which is important not only for public procurement, but especially for the process of technology. Because I lost a bit of time, I want to go to the next one slide. No, it doesn't work. Fantastic. Can somebody else go to the next slide?
Juan, even now the sound quality is not very good.
Sure. What happened?
Stuttgart calling, exactly.
Maybe it's Stuttgart problem, I don't know. Maybe then I have to stop and check if it will be better after some other actions. I don't know.
Okay, so if it's okay with you, we will go through the questions. There are already 3 questions, and maybe by then they have found a solution for the problem. Is that okay with you, Juan?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Now there was a question for Lucia. The question is, has the IPB model been actually tested in real life? Can you answer this question?
Yes, it's, the model is the result of the implementation of 5 different pilots in different regions of Europe. So it's been tested, yes.
Okay, so I hope that this question is answered. If not, I think you always can contact Lucia directly. Now the next question is, public buyers often have to give exact specifications in their calls, which makes it difficult to propose innovative solutions. How can we deal with that? I think we need to do some awareness raising with regard to the public buyers, and the ideal solution, which is legally safe and possible, is to allow variance. It's correct that public buyers have to describe what they want in detail, but basically they can always leave room for variance. They just have to define minimum requirements for the variance. Yeah, I think that's the best solution. Yes. Next question. companies that are interested in taking part in a PCP will at some point have to deal with TED, which is the database for public tenders in Europe, which is not user-friendly at all. Where can they find support? Well, the best thing would be to contact your local Enterprise Europe network partner, because they should know how to use TED. I don't quite understand where the support should lead to. If it's just a question with regard on how to fill in the search mask on TED, I think it's the help desk. The TED has a very good help desk to which you can write. Or, well, basically, most of the Enterprise Europe network partners, basically those working on single market topics, should know how to use TED. If I haven't answered your question, please specify what exactly you're looking for. And as I personally haven't really been looking for a PCP tender on TED. Maybe Reyes or Juan, maybe they have more practical experience with actually searching for a published PCP call.
In fact, I know that it seems it's different for the applications of the typical research and innovation projects. But I think that in the Enterprise Europe network, the assessors that work for the European programs are used to see this kind of processes. Sometimes tenders could be, in fact, different, but somehow easier because they are much more concrete about what they are asking. It's true that usually we need to comply with or give more extra documentation, but I really think it's quite easy. You can look it in the funding and tenders portal that I have presented in my talk. So it's quite interesting, and as Angelica says, in the end, we have the expertise just to guide you through the process.
I hope that I'm able that you can hear me. There is a wonderful newsletter from the European Union, from European Commission on for the public procurement, and then there you have all this information about coming open market coalition, coming tenders, and there they are inside. There are the links to the document. So for the colleagues, I can only suggest to have this newsletter to, and then they have all the information which they can give them to potential interest.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Anna, would you like to carry on with your presentation? Because as far as I can hear, Juan's sound is still not very good. Would you like to try, Anna?
Yes, of course.
Okay, very good. So, Anna Monistroy, she's our next speaker. She is a senior consultant at Axio in Catalonia. She also has long-standing experience on the evaluation of R&D projects, and as far as I know, she's been working on various PPI-related projects and initiatives. Now, what she's going to talk about today is quite an innovative product itself, because it is a marketplace they created for innovation providers. So, Anna, what's your key message for the audience?
Yes, in a nutshell, there are a lot of opportunities on public procurement of innovation for innovation providers, although it's necessary to find the right one to any provider. So we will present our observatory of these innovation demands and our new platform. And the second message maybe is the point that the dialogue with the market is a must. So it's necessary to promote this dialogue and we will present our proposal in the Smart City of Barcelona, where all of you are invited, of course.
Okay, now, carry on. Thank you.
Go ahead. Okay. Yes, perfect. Okay. Yes, I will start out by explaining who we are. I work at Acció, the headquarters in Barcelona, Spain. Acció, or Catalan Trade and Investment, is the Government of Catalonia agency for foreign investment and business competitiveness. We promote innovation, internationalization, clusters, and the funding of Catalan companies and startups. So that's our aim. We work to connect business with the world and to innovation. Yes, okay. An example of this global outreach is our network of 40 offices around the world that connect us to the global market. We promote innovation and internationalization as the two pillars that allow our businesses to compete in the global market. And we think one cannot work without the other. What about innovation procurement? We believe that it is one of the top strategic public instruments because it means a two-for-one deal. It's an opportunity for public entities to improve their services to citizens, and at the same time, it promotes innovation in the market. For company, it's a good way to develop new products or services with the support of a public customer by contract. Where should innovation providers look for this type of tenders? They are hard to find among the many tenders found on the same public procurement platforms. And it is also difficult to find the bidders, who can be a wide variety of public bodies, such as municipalities, agencies, hospitals, or other organizations that include them, all regulated by laws ranging from local to international and can be published on different platforms. Some tech companies are not used to bidding for tenders. They only know to submit proposals to calls for R&D projects. On the other hand, some companies that are used to bidding for tenders are unaware that these particular tenders have some special characteristics. That is because public entities are buying something, a new solution that does not exist in the market yet. First, the public entity will probably make a market consultation. They must carry out a really good exercise of their needs assessment because they have to purchase something useful in the future. The second characteristic is that the tender documents, the technical papers, will be demanded in functionalities, not in concrete specifications, because they do not want a narrow range of solutions, but a wide range of possible solutions. And third, the criteria for evaluating the offers will be not only in price, but in cost and quality. Therefore, the evaluation criteria and the process must be clear and transparent. So, how should solution providers act? Or what do we recommend? First of all, it is good to appear in searches about the state of the art. In these searches, they will find R&D projects, articles in specialized scientific journals, patents, etc. Secondly, it's highly recommended that innovation providers participate in market consultations because it's a way to publicize the services provided by the company and its R&D projects. Furthermore, the companies show their interest in the future tender. And finally, they must submit their proposal to tender, sometimes in consortium, because it's not easy to present a complete solution from a single company. I also want to notice how important it is for public entities to have another channel to receive unsolicited proposals. It's a long process to influence public entities, but it's important to offer this possibility. What does Axio do in public procurement of innovation? In short, we invite innovative companies to present their offers of these tenders. This is our website, where you can see highlighted in yellow the button that goes to our particular observatory of innovation procurement tenders, where we monitoring open and pending tenders. What else we do related to the program? We identify suppliers for specific tenders from public demand. We accompany private companies. We search for partners if there is a need through the EN network and Axio offices. We provide technological partners such as technology centers awarded by our Technio quality label. And we also provide a list of validated consultants if the provider wants to subcontract. Before going to the observatory, I want to present the figures from this year. We have identified so far 160 public procurements of innovation. In terms of countries, the opportunities we identified are from Spain, United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Germany, Belgium, Nordic countries, Italy, Netherlands, Israel. Regarding the sectors, the most popular are health, then chemistry, energy and resources, that include pollution and circular economy. User experience includes security, tourism, and others, mobility and industry. And finally, in terms of technology, the winner is information and communication technologies, sometimes combined with biotechnology, new materials, and advanced manufacturing. A highlight for us is the Smart City of Barcelona. This year, we organized 2 workshops, one on site and the other online. Both will take place on November 17th. We invite public entities to present the future projects in innovation procurement. They participate in the brokerage event, attracting other buyers interested in their future tender, becoming a consortium of international buyers, and they also gaining knowledge about the market situation by meeting innovative solution providers. The registration to the brokerage is open until November 8th, and the registration to the workshop as a speaker is open until October 30th. We publish the catalog of innovation procurement projects every year. This is from last year, because we are preparing now for the Smart City of this year. You can see that there were public entities from all over the world. We classify the projects in early demand, future projects, market consultation, and open or pending tenders. If you know of any public entity that might be interested in presenting a PPI project and joining the brokerage event, please let me know as soon as possible, and we will invite them. Finally, I want to show you the new Axios platform where we are doing this surveillance. It works as a public observatory of these opportunities. We use it as an open innovation observatory. If we go to the marketplace, here, we can filter by open innovation challenges of private corporations, or in our case, filter by public procurement, which we have all the subclassifications of PCP, PPI, or innovative solution. If we click on the opportunity, we can read about the buyer consortium, the project, an objectives description, the web and final contact where the opportunity is published, and if no, the total budget of the tender. We can also filter by sector of these opportunities, status, technology, and by country. If you're interested in posting an opportunity, please contact me. Right now, they only publish Axio staff or public entities or corporations with their demands. You can do this by acting on behalf of an innovation buyer. It's easy. They must register, and then they will post the opportunity on the marketplace. Once their profile is approved, it will be visible on the platform. And if a Catalan company is interested in it, they could attend a meeting through the platform. And this is from my side. I hope you participate in our proposal. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Anna. Very interesting project, very interesting outcome. I'm always impressed when I imagine how much work must be behind your marketplace. So thank you very much. As we had some problems, I suggest that we carry on with Maria. Maria, is that okay for you? You've been waiting anyway for your turn.
Thank you.
Right, so our next speaker, Maria Gavin from the Irish Government Export Agency. As far as I know, you have long-standing experience in various technology sectors.
Okay.
And although you are quite new to the network, you are an old shark when it comes to PPI. So today you're going to talk to us about the Irish support program. And what's your message, Maria?
I have two messages, colleagues. Delighted to be here. The first is I want to open the public buyers' minds to the wonder of innovation through true collaboration with technology-rich SMEs, and by doing so, encourage them to become more risk-friendly. And the second one is the critical importance of having and establishing public buyer champions for the innovative procurement process, so that they can extol the benefits of innovative procurement.
Okay, so let's start. Thank you.
Good. Delighted to be here, colleagues across Europe, and thank you for the opportunity. As referred to by Anna, my innovative procurement credentials are based upon design, delivery and implementation of Ireland's innovative procurement programme, or Small Business Innovation Research, called Sbio for short. This was a directive from the Irish government through its Action Plan for Jobs in 2013, a direct response to our economic crisis, which commenced in 2008, and the significant job losses that Ireland incurred as a result of the economic crisis. The government decided that Enterprise Ireland would establish Sbio, and therefore, as part of my undertaking, I needed to research globally what was going on in the world of innovative procurement. And that led me to discover that there were Sbio programs in the US, in the UK, and in the Netherlands. As a jump-off point, just to explain to everybody what Sbio is, it is a pan-government pre-commercial procurement process designed to drive innovation across the public sector via robust engagement with technology-rich or technology-agile SMEs, where the risk and benefit is shared by both parties. It is challenge-based, and therefore, as Lucia referred to in her presentation, it is to meet an unmet need. It is 100% supported in terms of finance to the companies who are awarded development contracts, and they own their own IP. But at the core of this process is us, the citizens of the world, and provision of a better service for the world that we inhabit. So it's all about better living environment. The embedded rationale for the public buyers, as far as I have learned, is better, stronger, faster, smarter. And they're all around the services that they need to improve and the products that they need to deliver to us in our societies. Sbio is governed by EU procurement legislation under PCP. And so too, the most outstanding program within the world, which is the Sbio US program, piloted in the late 70s. It was approved by the US Congress in 82. To date, it has funded 46 billion in research to agile companies. There are 70,000 patents. There are 700 companies created, some of these indeed global companies such as Qualcomm. And it has been a resounding success. It is the largest seed capital funded program on earth, so it's doing something well. And I looked at that as what could we take the true benefits from it. It's also been replicated across 17 countries, including, as I said, Ireland, the UK, the Netherlands, and Taiwan and Russia. So it's been established and it's the most mature of its kind. So I had to establish our first program, and with that, I decided that we would pilot it across the public sector just to see was there an interest. And the National Supply Agency of Ireland, the Electricity Supply Board as it's known, came on board as a first-time collaborative partner in the public sector. And they had a need around innovative electric vehicle chargers. Now, I'm not pretending that it was an easy process. It was difficult, but we learned a lot from that first pilot. And in terms of getting through the first technical feasibility, which is phase 1, and the second one, which is prototype development, we had a number of companies that made their way through. We took the learnings of that and we moved into a second and third pilot. And that brings us to our key advocate and part of the presentation, which is Dublin City Council. Dublin City Council came on board to run a pilot around the increasing the uptake of cycling within Dublin City by 25%, which was a big ask at the time. And they were very wide in their prescription, which goes back to a previous conversation that Anna was holding. They were very wide in their brief. So they were looking for security, they were looking for safety, they were looking for good signage. And they just wanted to see how this process worked and whether it was something that they could adapt and adopt and actually gain something out of it. And it was a fantastic success. They had 4 very small companies, some of them just brand new startups that responded to the challenge, and they were funded in phase 1, €12,500 each, very small money, just to prove their thinking, prove the project. And that moved on to the same 4 companies, which is quite unusual in an SBIO, but the quality was so good, to the second phase, prototype development, and they were funded $25,000 each. What we got out of that was the fact that Dublin City Council were open to innovation. They were open to collaboration. They were open to exploring the art of the possible with these great little companies. And also from the company side, they learned to engage with the public sector buyer. And this was absolute gold dust for those companies. So from that, SBIO Ireland, I decided that I'd open up a call for proposals across the public sector, and Dublin City Council, based upon their very positive experience in the pilot, decided to put in 3 projects, and these were anti-flooding in the city, where the sewers or the gullies become blocked, and that can create a terrible issue and had cost an awful lot of money in previous winters where there was flooding issues. Illegal dumping, which is an issue for every city across the world, where people dump their rubbish instead of going through a formal process of having it collected. And wayfinding in an urban quarter for able-bodied and non-able-bodied. To date, the most promising of these is the gully monitoring, which has had an extended period of testing and which will go to tender, I'm assured, in the next 6 months. So a great result for them. But Dublin City Council saw the benefits and they decided to set up a whole innovation programme based upon their experience of SBIO. And they decided to address all the parts of society that they could through their Smart City Innovation Program. They even have moved on to a PPI, where life buoys along the river, Liffey, have been stolen repeatedly, not only a cost to the City Council, but also a real life hazard if they're not there. And that has been tremendously successful. So they've become very ambitious since their humble beginnings. Now you can see that they have built this wonderful platform from SBIO. They do smart mobility, they do the environment, take air pollution and sensors out in the city, trying to take soundings of people moving around, the air, and just everything around urban living. They have a budget now of in excess of 3 million. And they have actually 20 contract ongoing awards, which is a phenomenal result in a very short space of time. Now, what did Dublin City like most about this process? They said it's a great way to break down barriers or obstacles to innovative thinking for their buyers within the council. It's an excellent method to gain insights as to what's going on in the commercial world, and therefore not have a prescriptive brief, have a much more open brief, which generates innovative response from companies. It allows collaboration both on the stakeholder side and with the innovative companies. And it creates time and space to highlight the art of the possible. And above all, it nurtures creative thinking. So from our point of view, what did we get out of the whole experience with Dublin City Council? We learned that it's critical to have the top-down embrace of such a programme. So from the CEO downwards, it must be adopted and embraced and understood. Impactful challenges require true collaboration. You can't do them if you're not open. You have to have the right people in the public sector body for the right challenges. That's people that are engaged, that understand and see the benefits of the innovation. The commitment to process and seeing it through, because it is a process and it does have bureaucracy, is critical. But above all, the benefits outweigh the obstacles and the benefits outweigh the process. And to date, just to finish, SBIO Ireland has gone from strength to strength. Enterprise Ireland has committed over 2 million to projects. We have over 25 public bodies and we have numerous projects ongoing. And we're hoping that this will continue and grow and become a culture of innovation. Thank you to everybody. I hope that you enjoyed my presentation and I'm open to any questions. Thank you, Angelica.
Thank you very much, Maria. Very good practical examples on what can come out of innovative procurement. Juan is now equipped with a new laptop and ready to finish his presentation. So we have to finish at 3:15. This is why I think we just give him the time to finish his presentation. And at the moment, there are no open questions, so there's no problem. Juan.
Yeah, I hope that you get it now. But it's me still. So I wanted to make it a bit shorter now. The important thing is we can integrate the SMEs as EEN. And when I go, oops, sorry. So I have no other technical problems now.
It's not your day, Juan. Bad vibrations in Stuttgart, very bad vibrations.
Yeah. To one yesterday evening.
To speak loud, early.
So no, it's okay. This slide is that one. So this preparatory is what means when you go in such project as a buyer, you know what the money is about. So you have to have this marketing quotations and ISEN and really support buyers by finding the right companies as bigger ones or research groups to go for this open. What means that the people coming to the open market situation can give an opinion on the idea of the buyers, let's say on spray. This helps the buyers group see what they may have forgotten to include in their injection of the tender. This all information buyers group make a tender, and this tender is then in, as we heard today, the newsletter you put in, which EN partners have, we will know and when will be the next open market consultation. Here in the study project was made then the study, and we had much more than 20, which is not bad. Finally, we started 6 bids for the phase 1, and this one is a design of the solution. It is somehow a analyzed analytical feasibility activity. And you can see that we have 6 companies awarded and or consult, and each got what you need.
Juan, I'm very sorry, but the sound hasn't improved at all, and it's still very bad, nearly incomprehensible.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. Could anybody of the other two, Anna or Lucia, finish the presentation? Maybe. I don't know how deep you're in.
Angelica, the truth is that I'm not aware. I mean, the only one that is involved in this project is Juan, so I don't feel
okay.
Ask me to restart. I should loud and without camera. Let's see. Can you hear me better with the second comment? No,
not really.
Angelica said really.
Not really. There's really no improvement.
I think this is a room more with too much room around me. Okay, I'm very sorry about. But if somebody is interested to know more, they can send me an email and we'll explain them how it systems and how it is for the SMEs to be involved. They get a lot of money up to the end. This is an important message they get, and they have IPR. I think this is an important thing.
Okay, so I'm very sorry, Juan, really. But I thank you very much for offering to send up the presentation and to talk to people on the phone that have individual questions. I encourage all the participants to have a look at the forum. I think it might be a good idea just also to post your presentations on the forum for everybody in the network to have a look at. And so as far as I can see, there are no more questions on Slido. Well, thank you very much for your time and your efforts and the presentations. And yes, it must be the bad vibrations in Stuttgart, I suppose. We will find out afterwards what was the reason. So thank you very much, and see you soon sometime either in the forum or at some other trainings. I'm sure that the Smart City event that Anna mentioned will be very interesting. She also posted the link on the Public Procurement Forum recently, so everybody that's interested can have a look at it. And yeah, that's it. Have a good time. And see you soon, personally. Okay, bye-bye.